G'day everybody, Steve Brown here, Head Coach, South Australian Judo Academy. I'm going to put together a short video today on Uchi Komi bands, what they are, how to get the most out of them, and the traps to look out for to make sure that you're getting benefit out of them and not actually causing more harm than good. So first of all, an Uchi Komi band is a rubber resistance band which we can use for technique and also conditioning exercises. What size band you need is going to depend a little bit on what you're trying to achieve out of it, as well as obviously your own physical size. But the number one trap I see people falling into is choosing a band that is too heavy or too thick for their size and their strength. So first and foremost, we want to promote positive technique with these bands. We should be having a small amount of resistance so that we can feel when we're turning in. And if our technique is not good, the band will pull us backwards, and that should be our reminder that our technique is either not good or the band is too heavy. So yeah, that's what we're kind of looking for here. If we're looking for purely a conditioning drill, which these are great for, pulling and things like that, then we can sometimes go for a heavier band. Or if we're looking to do power exercises, short reps, really explosive work, then we can choose a heavier band. But I usually err on the side of taking a lighter band. These bands are readily available. You can pick them up for about $6 at Kmart or Big W. They come in 3 different sizes normally. If you can't get your hands on one, you can use bungee cords, which you can get from places like Bunnings, or TheraBands like physios use, which you can get online in a range of different places. So they are readily available. Worst case scenario is the old bike tube, but I think these bands are much better options, but yeah. So let's talk first of all about where to mount it. The beauty of these bands is you can wrap them around pretty much anything, and then away you go. I personally like to have my band a little bit lower because I like to emphasize the kazushi, the break of the balance, which is the hardest thing for somebody to master in judo. And if we can just have that action right, then our judo is going to go a long way. So if I can get that part right, then I'm a happy person. From there, I want the band light enough that I can still do my full technique without the band compromising me, but also heavy enough that I've got a little bit of feedback from it and I'm not just doing shadow Uchi Komi. So let's talk a little bit about the bands and we'll go from there. So I've got a hook here at the gym which I put mine on, and I just run it through and then over to itself. You can put them around poles though, whatever you want. So for myself, when I do it, I find people struggle a little bit because they kind of don't know what they're holding on to here. But what I want to encourage you to consider is that one of these is the sleeve and that one of these is the lapel. So I don't actually hold them even, because if we were holding a sleeve and a lapel, the sleeve would always be closer to me and the lapel would always be further away. So that's what I'm trying to work on here. I'm not doing physio exercises where they need to be level. I don't mind them being a little off level. In between each Uchi Komi, I try to replicate good judo kumakata grip. So using my bottom 3 fingers, having good posture, having my dominant leg forward and holding here, strong through the core. If I was weak through the core, I would already be starting to tilt forward. And this is a big problem when we start to see inexperienced people use these bands, is they start to do this sort of thing. So we need good posture. If I relax through my hips, this is what's going to happen. So nice correct posture here, and then from here we can start to look at our technique. And if we look at the Uchi Komi technique, and then we'll build from there. So Uchi Komi is essentially everything but the throw. We're trying to practice the accuracy in our entry. We're trying to practice timing. We're trying to practice being precise and being exact each time we do it. If it's not exact, then what are we practicing? We're just practicing to do lots of things differently and probably badly. Practice doesn't make perfect, only perfect practice makes perfect. So we need to decide what is our perfect technique, and then we need to get as close to replicating that each time. For Uchi Komi, I don't recommend that people do any more than 10 at a time, 20 max if you're more of a high level athlete, because I find that after those 10 reps or 20 if you're a high level athlete, the technique inevitably starts to become lower, and then it becomes a conditioning drill, not a technical drill. So it's okay to do 200, 300 in a day, but in those shorter sets. 10, take a little break, not a very long break, a short break, so that your mind can reprogram what we're looking at doing. So from here, I'm holding my sleeve in my left hand because I'm a right-handed fighter, and I've got my lapel in the other hand here. From here, the very first step for me is the most important, because this step here is the step that I need for almost every throw in judo. If I can get that step there right, and I can break my partner's balance, from here I can decide to do a whole range of techniques, okay? So that's the part we've got to get right. We don't want to see anybody down here, up here. Once we're up here, now we can look at putting the second leg in. If I look, for example, for Murata Sanagi, in I come here, looking for that, those legs bent, hips down, nice and strong through my core. Never pulling back, never rolling forward, never on my heels. From there, it's about trying to replicate that. So when we talk about speed in Uchi Komi, we're talking about doing the technique as fast as you can, while still maintaining good technique. If your technique starts to fall away, then we need to slow it down, or we need to have a little rest so we can reprogram. As you do your Uchi Komi, up, in, back out, up, in, back out. Your speed can start to increase, but you need to continue to check on yourself. Am I breaking their kazushi? Is my grips good? Am I bending back? Am I rolling forward? Is my weight on my heels? So it's really important when we train on our own and when we train in a group, because the coach is not always there by your side, that we can be accountable for our actions. So to begin with, I would recommend this, 10. From here, we can start to build. Maybe you're a Tai Toshi player. Maybe you're an Osotogari player. I'd like to go this way. Whatever your technique is, we need to find a way to use these bands to mimic how we would move with a real partner. They do take some getting used to. It's not a normal thing to use, but they offer a great purpose. There's a range of conditioning drills we can do. We can do them for power, low reps, really high intensity. We can do them for time, things like this, things like this, things like this. There's a whole different range of things that we're going to be working on with these bands. So we'll leave it at that for the time being. If you've got any questions, make sure you let me know. Shoot me a message, get in contact with me. But yeah, pick one up, get used, go slowly, don't just jump into it and think you're going to go a million miles an hour. Take it slow, build your technique, and then in a week or so, you'll find that you'll be able to start to really put them to good use.